and this is Ashley Mcguire. She was my client and still is. Today, we're going to be talking about the 7 signs of a narcissistic relationship. The reason we're doing this is because tomorrow is June 1st, which is Narcissistic Awareness Day, and this is a new day that was set aside in 2016 to increase awareness so people can understand that this abuse that is silent is dangerous. These purple ribbons we're wearing, we're representing that, and we're standing and having the voices for our sisters who can't. So the first time we're going to be talking about is the love bombing phase. The love bombing phase is a phase where you are just so in love. This is when the narcissist has the mask on and you are just addicted. This is the phase where everything starts to happen for the rest of your life. Ashley, talk about your phase, the love bombing phase.
Oh my goodness, Lord. The love bombing phase, I mean, it sucks you in. It draws you in. Just what you said. Once we got together, we were connected from day one. We were inseparable. Like I said, I remember my mom calling me one day and she's like, Ashley, who you riding with? And I was like, I'm riding with my husband, not knowing that it would eventually become my husband. But that just shows you the power of it, where it just kind of, like I said, sucks you in. We just stayed together, enjoyed it. Everything was great.
Yeah. And that's how it is in the first phase, because that's the phase where they have the mask on. They don't show you who they are until the second phase. So that first phase, woo-wee, better watch out.
You better watch out.
We're going to talk about the second phase. And the second phase is the controlling and manipulation phase. And that phase, it happens basically in the second phase. And this is where they make sure they have you up under their thumb. Ashley, what do you think about that phase? What happened with you in that phase?
I just saw it more so from controlling, but self-isolation or isolating myself from friends that initially when we all hung out together to now, oh, I don't like so-and-so because so-and-so does this. You don't need to hang around so-and-so. So what began to happen was I saw that decline in my relationships with my friends. I began to become more isolated, and he became my best friend. So
Right.
it was weird because it was like, wait a minute, we were all kicking it, having fun, and now I'm isolated from the very people that we were once having fun with and turning up with. So.
And that's what happens. They always make sure that they isolate you because that's what they mean to do anyway. They triangulate you too. So if you try to have a friend, they'll make sure that that friend is not in your life. They'll lie to that friend or they'll lie to you about that friend because their first thing to do is to isolate you so that nobody can get to you. You are theirs and theirs alone. So let's talk about the third phase, and that's the self-centeredness phase. And with that phase, it's all about them. Nothing else matters
All
but
about
them.
them.
Tell us about
All
that phase.
about them. Nothing matters but
That's
them.
right.
Their opinion, whatever it is that they want to do, is all about them. And I saw that even in my relationships, not just my previous relationship, but relationships before that. It was their way or the highway. Anything that they wanted to do. It wasn't about what was interesting to me, but was interesting to them. You know, I like to go to the movies. Well, they like to buy bootleg movies and sit down and watch bootleg movies. So I saw that, and it's crazy because I didn't know exactly what it was. But now, going through this healing process, I'm able to understand what it is now and look at it. So
Right. And they do that because it's all about them. And they get with you to get your supply. Narcissists want supply. And what they do is if they can get the supply from you, then they're happy. So they're self-centeredness. And if they can't, they'll have no use for you. Also, narcissists lack empathy. They lack empathy because it's a part of their brain that didn't develop. So they're just like, it's about me, it's about me. If you fall out on the ground and you're bleeding, they'll walk past you. And you sit there in awe like, oh my God, this can't be real because you've never seen anything like it. Have you ever experienced that?
I have experienced it. I had a cornea transplant in my eye. initially was there when I did get the surgery. However, it was going through that healing process for me where I was like, man, I wish I didn't even get the surgery, Dr. Rhonda,
Wow.
because he made me feel so bad just for simple things. I needed support in driving to go get our daughter from daycare, for example. And I remember just driving, we were going to get her one day and I was in tears. Like, I cannot wait for these 4 weeks to be over. Wow. So I'm able to just go get my baby in peace because he made me feel, inadequate at the time. I wasn't able, you got her at this daycare all the way out here. And it was just like, we just going to pick up our daughter and I have her in this daycare because she needs to be in this daycare.
Right.
It's a good daycare.
Right.
You know? And so I remember feeling, depressed. I was sad, to be honest with you, because the way he made me feel. So, like you said, lacking empathy for me in that moment.
Yeah. And that's true. They lack empathy. They just don't want to be bothered. It's all about them. So it's hard for people with empathy to understand that. Very hard. Number 5. Let's talk about them cheating, gaslighting, and manipulating.
Lord.
What does that mean? Most narcissists, and we're talking about pathological narcissists today, most of them will cheat, lie, and gaslight. They will make you feel like you're nothing just so they can do what they want to do. And if you catch them in it, they'll say, that wasn't me. It's unreal. Have you ever experienced that?
I have, and multiple times. And it makes you feel like you're crazy. Honestly, it makes you feel like you're losing your mind because you know the truth. You've seen the red flags and you've seen the text messages. You heard the voicemails. And it's like they try to make you feel like you're stupid or, girl, nah, that's my friend. And it's like, well, why would your friend be calling you and telling you shouldn't get married because of X, Y, and Z? So it was just like,
wow,
what is going on here? And so for me, I knew then, but I just didn't pay attention that there was a problem. I just didn't know what the problem was. Right. I thought it was me. I did think that I was crazy at one point in time. Like, I'm checking behind him. I don't trust him. What is it? Is it me? And it wasn't. The whole time it was him.
Right. And this is when they cause dysfunction. A lot of times it's so much comfortable to stay in the dysfunction to come out because it's painful. And all you want is that first phase to come back, that love phase. So you're thinking, okay, maybe something is wrong with me. So you stay.
Yes.
So let's talk about phase 6. That phase is when you just say, I don't understand why you continue to talk about that, why you continue to treat me like this. So let's talk about this. What about communication? Do they communicate well at all?
No, not at all. I was always told in my relationships, don't ask me any questions. Well, most women are communicators. We like to communicate, whether it's about getting the children or whatever the situation may be. And it was just little things. Well, hey, where you going? Just so I can know where you're going. Not so much because I want to keep a tab on you, but because I want to know that in the event something happens, I want to know how I'm able to reach you.
Right.
So I was always told they don't like being questioned. And so for me, that was a form of disconnect in our relationship because I can't communicate with you about small things. Right. And so that it was hard for me.
Right. Most narcissists don't like to communicate because they can't remember what they told you because they lie a lot. So they can't remember what they said the last time, so they don't want you to ask them. And most narcissists are like little boys with toys. They're going to cheat. You may look good and they'll keep you on their arm as their prize, but they're always going to go and do something else. So communication, that's out. Just be quiet and do what I say, which is sad. So tell me about rock bottom. When you decided, that's it, I'm done.
Ooh. Rock bottom for me was, I think, when he posted a young lady on Facebook. He's not currently with that young lady, but that's when I hit rock bottom. That's when my mom, I was on the kitchen floor in tears, balled up as like a baby. And that's when I reached out, or my mom reached out to you and connected you and I, and that was the first step to my healing. And I never forget that phone call. I was screaming and crying, and Dr. Rhonda was like, it's going to be okay. If I promise you, if you go this course, if you take these steps, you can heal and you'll regain your peace and you'll regain your self-love. And so for me, that was my moment where I hit rock bottom. I knew I was tired of the games. I was tired of being manipulated. I was tired of thinking that I was living in a fantasy bubble in my own world, and that I was making up stories that were truth, when in all actuality, they were reality. They were true. You know, he was dealing with other women, whether he confessed it or not. That was rock bottom for me.
And number 7 is rock bottom. Number 7 is the number of completion. Until you're really ready to heal, you have to be real to heal. You have to hit rock bottom, and everybody's rock bottom is different. And you have to remember that in a relationship with a narcissist, it's just not going to work. It's never going to work. So in my book, Recognizing the Love Trap, which Ashley has read, I asked her to give me 1 or 2 things that she thought was important in that book that touched her, that she liked.
Well, I think one is the pathological loneliness. I think this journey to healing is a very lonely journey, and it takes you actually hitting rock bottom and saying, hey, enough is enough. I love me more.
Absolutely.
And I want to walk away from you and allow you to continue on this journey, but continue on the journey without me. So that way I can truly heal and find love or just heal. And so I think that's a very important point in the book, is where you talk about the pathological loneliness. A lot of people can't get through it, as you've told me. That's one of the most hardest phases.
That's right.
And then the self-love continuum, the CVS. CVS allows you to be able to identify the narcissist. It allows you to identify whether you're a narcissist or you're codependent. And typically when you're dealing with a narcissist, you're a codependent.
That is so true. The codependent scale is what the renowned Ross Rosenberg taught me. You know, you got to look and see what side of the scale you're on. Some people are more resilient than others. And with the pathological loneliness, if you don't heal, you will go from relationship to relationship to relationship. So I'm so happy that Ashley is healing, and I'm glad she's here to help me educate sisters and brothers around the world about this narcissistic pathological thing that is destroying our lives. And tomorrow, I'm going to be on a website doing a webinar just teaching people, because tomorrow, like I said before, is Narcissistic Awareness Day. It's worldwide. You know it has to be bad if it's worldwide. And also, you can reach me on selflovedoctor.com if you have any questions. I have a self-love 30-day tracker on there. It's all kind of information on there. But most of all, I like to thank you for listening to me, and thank you so much, Ashley, for being vulnerable.
Thank you, Dr. Rhonda, for allowing God to use you to bring awareness to such a pandemic.
Thank you. It's all about God.